Thanks for stopping by Capsule to Cone. I'm Matt McQueen. This is my good friend Curtis Leeser. And today, this is episode number 2 of Will It Les Paul. And Curtis, you've brought the wrong freaking guitar again. That is not a Les Paul. That's a baritone Dan Electro, buddy.
Dude, I got this. It's super easy, barely an inconvenience.
All right, roll that bumper.
Will it Les Paul?
All right, we're back, and we are answering the question, will it Les Paul? And today, we've got a couple of single-cut guitars. Curtis, why don't you go ahead and talk about the one that you're holding?
So, this is my new pride and joy that Matt so graciously sold to me. And I'm pretty sure he has night terrors about it every night and regrets it in his sleep.
I'm still in the honeymoon period with the gold top, so I don't mind that much. But maybe 6 months from now, I'll be like, gosh, dang it.
So this is a 2012 Prs Tremonti Signature, and you replace the pickups out with the Sir Thornbuckers, which, to my understanding, is just their version of a PAF style pickup, right?
Yeah, that's just essentially Sir's. If you read their website, it says their coveted 50s patent applied for style pickups, which incidentally is in the guitar that I'm holding. What we are comparing and trying to decide, using to determine Will It Les Paul, is a 1980 Gibson Les Paul Standard. And as we discovered in the previous video, when we were doing the research for the previous video, this should have, now I don't know if they've been changed out, and neither does Goldman. This is Goldman's Les Paul. He lives here at the studio. And what we don't know is what pickups are actually in this, but it's probably stock because Matt's never changed it, and he's had this guitar for a number of years. So it should be the Gibson T-top pickups, which are the same pickups that are in the Fire brand. So I think that's what's in this guitar, which is also a PAF style pickup. So we're gonna play both of these guitars today through this Friedman BE100.
This is such a glorious amp.
This is a great rock and roll amp. I don't have a JCM 800. It sort of does the JCM 800 thing pretty well, but that's the amp that we're going to use. I really love this amp. Super fortunate to have it. Got a stunning deal on it through Facebook Marketplace that I probably shouldn't even talk about.
No, you should. Everybody should know how well you are at finding gear.
I am sort of a gear finder. Yeah, I got the head and 2 Friedman 2x12 cabs for $2,500, and then I didn't want the cabs. I have cabs that I prefer over those 2 Friedman 2x12s. I kind of wish I would have kept one of them, but I sold them both for $600 a piece. So I have basically $1,300 and a BE100. So, and I'm definitely bragging because that's a great deal.
Yeah, that's a stupid deal. I've been looking at Friedman's and I can't find anywhere close to that.
Yeah, they're definitely all of the BEs, the regular BEs and the deluxes are all ridiculously expensive. But
so our goal today is to play these guitars through a glorious amp and answer the question of what?
Will it Les Paul? So let's do that. Okay, we've heard Curtis riff. We've heard a roaring Friedman in all of its high gain glory. What do you think, Curtis? Does the Tremonti Les Paul?
I'm split. I'm gonna say yes and no.
Okay, explain yourself.
So we listened back to the clips, and the Gibson on the neck pickup definitely felt like a classic Les Paul. Like there was like a clear mid push in it that just reminded me of like old rock and roll records and that sound. And then I did the Tremonti, and I just didn't hear the mid push as much. It's still there, but it wasn't.
Talking on that first riff, right?
Yeah, the first riff, it just wasn't popping out as much. I would still argue that at Les Paul's, I preferred that, the sound that the Tremonti gave, but, that's me. But comparing it to the Les Paul, I don't know. I feel like it was a little further away on that one. But as far as middle position and neck pickup on those riffs, I thought the Tremonti outdid the Les Paul. And I think it Les Paul's in that sense. It's just got its own characteristics.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. What I'm going to say is, I'm going to actually go one further. I'm going to say on the neck pickup, the very last riff, I actually don't think it Les Paul's. But I mean this in a good way. I really felt like that the Tremonti had much clearer just note definition. We had a very gainy sound, and it's the neck pickup, which can get kind of bloated in the low end. And to me, what I was hearing is I was like, oh, this is actually sort of reminiscent of when you go to the neck pickup on a Strat, and you kind of get that bell-like, singy, Hendrixy kind of thing or whatever. But the note definition, man, it just really, really seemed to have so much more clarity, and it's coming from, this. It seems like that there's more frequency content coming from the Tremonti once you get into the upper mids, almost highs. That on these pickups, it definitely sounded brighter. It sounded clearer to me. I felt like I could hear what you were picking better than on the Les Paul. First riff though, I think that they were pretty similar. Looking at the frequency analyzer on Pro Q3, the Les Paul had just barely, like maybe a half a dB or a dB more in the 2 to 3K range than the Tremonti did, and so it seemed like it was a little bit brighter. But the low mids, 3 to 500 range, which is not super pretty sounding on a guitar, but there's definitely some beef and some harmonic in there. 200, they were very similar in those lows, low mids, whatever. Both guitars were, and so I think in that sense, it definitely Les Paul's. For whatever reason, man, the neck pickup, so on the middle and neck positions, this guitar was much brighter, So I definitely think, man, sort of sad I sold this one to you, Curtis. Not gonna lie.
I'm so glad you did sell it to me. Well, I play it every day.
It's a fantastic guitar. There's a few differences worth noting. The Les Paul and the Tremonti have 2 different scale lengths, and so that could totally be playing into some of the differences that we're hearing. They're still both a mahogany body with a maple top, but the Tremonti has a 25-inch scale length. So the scale length, if you don't know this, is measured from the nut all the way to the bridge. That's 25 inches on this guitar. On the Les Paul, it's 24 3/4. So it is only a 1/4 inch of difference, but
it goes a long way.
It goes a long way. Gosh, dude. Oh, man. It's obvious what the PRS is definitely modeled after. It's a single cut. These guitars get compared a lot. If you don't know this, but back in the early 2000s, there was actually a lawsuit where Gibson sued PRS. Again, just really?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you didn't know that, there was a lawsuit
I'll have to go
where
check it out.
They sued PRS, and PRS actually won because basically a judge said that there was no way that somebody walked into a guitar store buying this and were confused and thought they were buying a Les Paul. There's enough of a difference.
Is that why Gibson's in bankruptcy right now?
I don't know. But I promise, Gibson, if you watch this, we're not going to make fun of you for being for going bankrupt every time we film one of these. I love Gibson guitars.
I will.
I have 5 Gibson guitars here at the studio. 2 are Goldman's, 3 are mine. I love Gibson guitars. No 6. There's also a J50.
That's right. Case. I think I can't say I don't like Gibsons anymore now that I own 2.
Yeah. Gibsons, are great guitars. They've had their moments, but there are some wonderful Gibson guitars out there. And that's why we're doing this series. That's why we're asking the question, will it Les Paul? Because it's such an iconic instrument, you know?
Yeah.
It really is. And there are so many attempts to, you know, improve or to imitate that guitar that I think that it's fun and it's worth noting, and it's, you know, it's nice to just go down this rabbit hole. So
absolutely. So answering the question, will it Les Paul?
I definitely think that it Les Pauls. It's got its differences, but it definitely Les Pauls. I would hate for you to come and do a session here for me, for a client of mine, and not have my Gold Top or Goldman's Standard and this Tremonti to be able to choose from and pick what tones we're going to use.
Absolutely.
So, it's a great guitar to have. I'm definitely sorry I sold it to you, but I'm glad you got it, buddy.
Me too.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things that all the other YouTubers ask you to do, because it just helps us and it encourages us to keep making this content. Until next time, I've been Matt.
I'm Curtis.
Thanks for watching. This has been Capsule to Cone. See you.